Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
Now, Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. Oh, look at that. Hey, I don't know if that looks cool or stupid, the fact that you have on the last real predictions champion on both the head and the shirt. But it looks good regardless because you are a winner from last month.
I was a winner, past tense, yeah.
We do have, what's the name of the guy? J2X,
I think.
J2X is our new predictions winner. But we're here to talk about AEW All Out, which was, of course, part of our predictions challenge. Another long, this was what, 4.5 hours or so?
It was nearly 5 hours.
Almost 5 hours long. It ran into a lot of, at least the Brock Lesnar
the first hour of
WrestlePalooza.
WrestlePalooza, yeah. Yeah, because WrestlePalooza started at 4, and that's right about when the main event was starting.
Yeah. What's your main takeaway from the show, dude? What's the thesis statement here on All Out? What's going on?
I
with
don't know.
AEW
It was kind of in some respects, a beguiling show. There was a few matches that we were doing our predictions. We thought, well, there's a possibility for a surprise here or there, like Ricochet and Gates of Agony beating the Hurt Syndicate, which actually panned out.
Yeah.
We talked about the possibility, however slim, of Mark Briscoe beating MJF. That panned out too. I don't think either of us thought there was much of any chance for Tony Storm to lose that title.
I noticed like maybe 3 people out of the, how many people participated? Was it
215 or something like that?
Oh, it was 215, something like that?
Yeah.
Maybe like 3, 4, 5 people had Statlander.
Yeah.
That was not expected at all.
No, and then slightly less surprising, considering the stipulation, no one was getting pinned. Mox beating Darby in the coffin match.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Pac came back.
Yeah, Pac came back. Cut his hair off and came back.
I think he looks great with the short hair, by the way.
Yeah, he does. He
looks like an actor.
So I guess that's kind of the takeaway is, a lot of times we have these really long AEW pay-per-views with 8 to 10 matches, and a lot of them, say for maybe a match or 2 per card, we're like, oh, guaranteed this person's going to win. It just makes sense.
Yeah.
And this card had several matches like MJF and Briscoe, like Hurt Syndicate versus Ricochet and Gates of Agony, where you'd think, well, MJF, he's a former world champion. He's, one of the top guys in the company. He doesn't really lose all that often, period, much less on pay-per-view. He'll probably win that match.
Yeah,
doesn't work out that way.
Yeah, picture speaking. That one really surprised me. Is it possible that Tony Khan delivered more of the spectacle, surprises, and fun compared to WrestlePalooza?
Well, definitely more surprises.
Certainly not spectacle, because that's not AEW's thing, but definitely on surprises, yeah.
And, of course, fun is subjective,
Sure, absolutely, yeah.
So I guess the score is 1-1 for September 20th, huh?
There you go. If the question is who won, it's a standoff.
Yeah.
Stalemate.
You can't really measure fun.
Oh no.
I thought the main event was long, but it was really, really good. Granted, I was watching that while I was watching the shit show that was Brock versus Cena. And if you watch a WrestlePalooza review, talked about the interesting juxtaposition of what that match, Brock versus Cena, was supposed to be the main event.
Yeah.
Initially of WrestlePalooza, it was announced initially as the main event. Then maybe they thought, well, there's a chance that All Out is going to run long. Let's kick off our show with our would-be main event to draw viewers away from All Out.
I hate to bring this up as like, a WWE talking point at the very head of an AEW review, but really quick, just did they originally have Cena winning that match and that's why it was going to main event? I don't know that it would have had anything to do with AEW. It's ESPN, and I know they let WWE control creative. They said as much. But I'm kind of curious. Like, I wonder if Cena going out on a high, beating Brock was originally the plan, and that's why they had it at the main event, and that's why they changed it to the opener because he was going to lose. I don't know. Maybe somebody will have more.
I don't know. I just figured it was all right. They wanted to try to draw viewers away from
That could be.
That's what I thought.
That could very well be.
I kind of chalked it up to. But anyways, it served as an interesting juxtaposition about the two companies. Main event was long. It was a great showing for Kyle Fletcher. You know, during his various interactions with Will Ospreay and AEW, Ospreay is pretty much accused Fletcher of being too much a carbon copy of Will Ospreay.
Yeah.
And in this match, that did apply, but in like the best ways possible.
Yeah.
Because there were several sequences in this match, including the one that led to the finish, that was just so intricate, so fast, and so crisply executed that it's like one of the reasons I watch pro wrestling. You watch like the end of Carl Anderson's match against Okada in the G1, where the finishing sequence of that is just bang, 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 counter, 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 and it's so crisply executed.
Yeah.
There's countless instances where I can think of Will Ospreay's done stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Same with Okada. Like a lot of matches with Okada, there's these sequences, and they may not last more than a minute or two, but they get so much in there that it's fantastic. Oh, the main event was great. I thought the Unified Championship match was great. It was a great showing for Mascara Dorada.
Yeah, that was a huge showing for Mascara Dorada. Yeah.
The second half of the show overall, I thought was probably better than the first.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Had a bit of a dud in the first half of the show. You know, if AEW is not going to deliver consistently strong stories, and they really have to rely on the quality of their in-ring product. And, you know, the matches I mentioned, I thought really delivered in that respect. But not as a show, it didn't feel like overwhelmingly to that degree. Like All In this year, top to bottom, it felt like it was just one great match after another. And this just didn't quite have the same oomph behind it, I thought, overall, that show did. And that's hard to do because All In's like their WrestleMania.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree with that. I mean, again, you know, I've referred to All Out as kind of like AEW's Backlash, where they paid off everything at All In. So you're kind of in a situation now where, okay, you got to build some more stuff. Well, their weekly television it's just not the strongest when it comes to that. And they're missing their two of their biggest baby faces. And so, yeah, I don't know. It's just sometimes when the story going into it is just lackluster, it's hard to really get too invested in matches, especially when it's like a really long pay-per-view with oftentimes long matches. That being said, in a vacuum, I'd watch Mercedes Moné versus Riho any day of the week, and that match really super delivered.
It was really good.
You already mentioned it. The unified title match was phenomenal because of Mascaras Dorado just absolutely was the glue for that match. You know, he was the wild card, and you got this, you know, heated rivalry now between stablemates Okada and Takeshita. And you got this luchador in there just doing all sorts of crazy shit, taking advantage of that stuff. And really that match didn't solve anything. It just made things kind of worse between Okada and Takeshita, which is a really great story beat going forward. And that's the kind of thing that you want going forward when they eventually pay that match off between Okada and Takeshita. And then you had some zaniness with the Darby Allin versus Mox stuff, which was a lot of fun. And that is, you know, let me ask you this. This is what I was thinking when Brian got the bag for Darby Allin. And Bryan Danielson was terrific on commentary tonight.
So good.
And you know, he gave him the bag with the bag in it, with the plastic bag to go murder Mox the way Mox murdered Bryan. And so Darby goes and does that. In retrospect, seeing this go down, would this have been a more satisfying, better, what have you, made more sense finish to Mox's title reign if the timing lined up and Darby came back in time for All In and Tony Khan was like, this guy right here, but he wins against Mox instead of Mox beating him?
Yeah.
Do you think that would have been a because the Hangman moment was great. They did such a
fantastic.
great job with that.
They did.
Would this have made more sense though?
I guess in some respects, yes, and depending on where they take the story, it also would have made sense if whenever Darby beats Mox, is the first time that we saw the plastic bag,
Yeah.
and that's involved in him beating Mox. But maybe the story is, well, you're not going to beat Mox at his own game. Darby, you got to be you, and win that way. Which there wasn't really anything in this match that really led me to believe that. But if that's the route they go, all right. I mean, that's kind of the what if, though, is, what if Darby hadn't decided to go climb Mount Everest and was available for the build to All In and for the show itself, and Tony Khan had decided, we set the story up where Mox beats Darby for his title shot, and that's how he wins the title that leads to the Death Riders. And then they'll build it to that particular match. He says to Darby, you don't have the ingredients to be champion right now.
Mm-hmm.
And if Darby goes on a run that leads to, wins the Owen, gets that match at All In against Mox, and you have that moment with Danielson putting the bag out with the plastic bags inside.
Mm-hmm.
That could have been something. I don't know if it would have been better than what we got, but it would have been something.
I think they had 3 great options, and I mean, Ospreay, it turns out, injured or dealing with the neck stuff, and so that was a smart move not to go with him. But if Ospreay was healthy, Ospreay, Hangman, Darby, all great options. I think they could have done that with anybody. But when I saw him get out the bag, I was like, oh shit, this had to have been an option for the title, and maybe going back all that way when it seemed obvious that they wanted Darby for that, to come back from come back from Everest and beat Mox. And instead they went with Hangman and All In, which I thought was a great idea anyways, because you and I were both championing that for a very long time.
Oh yeah, ever since, back when the first kind of inkling was that it was going to be Darby, we're like, no, Hangman's the dude.
Yeah. So they actually listened to us. That's good.
We had a return and we had a debut during the show. Beth Phoenix, made an appearance to help her husband and Christian Cage get the win over FTR. That was neat. I don't know if we're going to be seeing her more often in AEW or not, or if this kind
not
of
anytime soon, because she got hit with that big old pile driver.
That's true.
Yeah.
And then Jack Perry returned.
Yeah.
And reunited with Luchasaurus, and apparently Jurassic Express is back because they played the old theme and the whole crowd was doing the woes and all that. So I don't know if that means we're losing the scapegoat mobile and whatnot. I don't know. I hope not.
So, I think I was always firmly in the minority on this one, and I've always been fine with that. I liked the scapegoat character. I thought it was much more interesting than the Jungle Guy.
Absolutely.
That he was the one guy that actually took the CM Punk stuff and kind of ran with it. And I don't think they did nearly enough with it that they could have done. But I like that stuff. And having Luchasaurus come back, even though he had already come back, was weird. I was like, wait, who the fuck is this? Like, he's already here. Like, he's been with Kip Sabian. Like, what's going on?
For a couple
right
weeks,
now?
so. Yeah, I know. And you have Jurassic Express getting back together. There's a story going on now where Jerry Lynn's trying to get the Acclaimed back together.
Yeah.
And, if the idea is you split these tag teams up to see what they can do as singles competitors, it just kind of feels like an admission of failure on Tony Khan's part that, we didn't come up with anything interesting enough for them to be successful on their own. Let's just put them back together. But like the case of Jack Perry, where he actually achieved some measure of single success, he was TNT champion.
He was, yeah.
It just feels like, I think both for him and Luchasaurus and for Bowens and Caster, if they flash back to 2021 and they're all back together as tag teams as if nothing had really happened, it kind of feels like a step back.
Yeah, it does. But you're right, for kind of different reasons. Like with Jack Perry, he actually made some progress. Again, maybe, people weren't into it. I was. But What's the motivation? What's the character reason for this? I don't understand it. I get him attacking the Young Bucks.
Yeah.
But then, like, Luchasaurus comes back. Again, they run a vignette where Jack Perry's the one who, brings him back to life. And there were hints of this when they originally ran this vignette because you could see his hand in there, like his like cuff or whatever.
Is on his denim jacket.
Yeah, his jacket. But it was just, I don't know. Like, it was like the weirdest creative decision when you're coming up with these stories is, and then Luchasaurus returns. And it's like, wait a second. He already returned. It's kind of like a semi-big deal. He came back to be with Kip Sabian. And Nick Wayne, the patriarch.
We came back to stick it to Christian.
Stick it to Christian, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But he returns again. It's like,
well, I guess the idea is that he came back to stick it to Christian by aligning with Kip Sabian, but that wasn't really the ultimate goal because when Jack Perry revived him, it was to reform Jurassic Express.
Yeah, I guess so. I wish Tony Khan said exactly what you said, and everybody gets their cup of ice.
Everybody's chewing ice, yeah. But like in the case of the Acclaimed, you have Max Caster doing something that's fun, that's starting to get over.
I liked that stuff a lot, and it just didn't. They didn't give it much TV time, and there was no you can do stuff with that. And then Bowens, they gave him a new outfit, and that's it. That's it. There was not very many matches, and if there were, I didn't see him. I know he was on Collision.
Yeah.
And but they did not try much with him.
It seemed like half-hearted attempts to try to establish Caster and Bowens as singles wrestlers from the creative side of things.
It was very it was very it was very Vince coded. I hate saying that, but it's ironically, Bowens kind of ended up in the same realm as Mr. Ass or the One gimmick. It was more like the One gimmick where it's what is the deal? What is this even? What the hell was Bowen supposed to be? He just had a generic kind of superhero-ish outfit. And it's this guy has everything. Now give him something to work with. Give him a story. Give him something. Mm-hmm. And then Jerry Lynn, of all people, I don't know where Road Dogg, Billy Gunn is. I know where Road Dogg is. He's making terrible scripts for SmackDown.
Yeah.
But Jerry Lynn's out there saying, "Come on, guys, you can do so much together." Yeah, but they're apart.
Yeah.
They're cool apart. They're happy. We saw it last time they were together. So it's still, honestly, it makes me think, whose idea was it to split them in the first place? Was it a Tony Khan thing? Was it the two dudes and they were like, we don't want to do this? Was it one of the dudes and he was like, I don't want to do this? And the other guy was like, all right, I guess I'm stuck not doing this anymore.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then they were both like, this isn't working. I don't know. But that's all I think now because I'm like, why are they doing this?
Yeah, no.
So, yeah, that was weird. That's weird.
It was
stuff.
strange.
Anyways, we're going to talk more about All Out here in just a moment. We do have a sponsor for the show this week, though. Let's go ahead and talk about them.
Let's do it. This episode of Going in Raw is sponsored by Tempo. The kids are back in school, and that means there's a lot more going on in the Ann Larson household between the homework and the after-school activities the kids have, plus work. For me, planning and preparing a healthy meal at dinner time become a serious challenge.
Oh, man, I feel you there, Larson, which is why I love Tempo. They offer pre-cooked real meals that are actually good for you, and they're ready to eat in minutes. Tempo means that I no longer have to skip meals or order mediocre takeout or pick up something at the drive-thru when my schedule is packed.
And Tempo keeps things exciting with 20 new recipes every week, like barbecue pulled pork and sweet potato skillets and chicken cordon bleu that are made with nutrient-rich ingredients so you can stay consistent with your healthy eating habits. And you know me, Steve. I need to get my protein in every day. But no matter your goals, there's a Tempo meal for you, carb-conscious, fiber-rich, and oh yeah, protein-packed meals with up to 30 grams of protein. Yeah!
And for a limited time, Tempo is offering our listeners 60% off your first box. Go to tempomeals.com/raw. That's tempomeals.com/raw for 60% off your first box. tempomeals.com/raw. Rules and restrictions may apply. So it kicked off with Cope and Cage, or Cage and Cope, versus FTR. I thought this match was good enough. I like the Edge shout out to John Cena. That was fun.
That was fun, yeah.
That was cool.
There was the Cope and Christian were about to do a twist of fate.
Yeah.
Maybe a swanton type deal.
Yeah.
They hit a 3D. So
Yeah, that was cool.
There's a lot of shout outs in this match, yeah.
It's, two legendary tag teams, so they got to do the shout out thing. Remember that there was what was it? The
it was the FTR
versus the Bucks.
And the Young Bucks had all sorts of shout outs.
Harlem Heat shout outs? Yeah, that was cool. They
Yeah.
just lacked a Shaker Heights spike.
Don't know if we're going to see that anytime soon, if ever.
It's a bummer. Anyways, it had a weird finish though. So Beth Copeland shows up, which was actually really cool to see.
It was great, yeah.
And then she helps Cage and Cope.
Stokely pulls out the ref after.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Cage hits a spear, I think, and so she comes out and carries Stokely back to the backstage area.
Yeah, and then she helps Cage and Cope hit a 3D for 2. She then takes Stoke away. That's when that happens. And then Cash grabs Cage off the top, power bombs him onto the table. Dax gets a cheap shot with a foreign object. FTR falls with a double team pile driver. But Cope kicks out at 2. FTR try a shatter machine. Cope blocks that, hits 2 impalers instead. A spear into a shatter machine. Cope kicks out of that. FTR hits another shatter machine. Cash hits a forearm. Cope ducks a line and hits a spear instead. And then Cage holds Dax back. Cope gets the win. Kind of a clunky finish to this.
I wonder if they weren't supposed to hit that second shatter machine if Christian was supposed to trip somebody up.
That could, because he was hovering there.
Yeah.
And I thought he was going to trip somebing up there, but it didn't happen.
That was supposed to be the case.
So, they get the win here. Kind of a clunky finish. One thing to note, too. So, from several people, including our notes taker, Chris Garrix, who was there, crowd was wild and loud. And I've seen this online as well. Wouldn't know it by watching this.
The crowd seemed tired and bored based on how it was presented on TV.
The audio was like, you could barely hear the crowd. But then also, I don't know, just visually on TV, maybe it was just a lower bowl thing. I don't know. People really didn't look all that excited either. But I don't know.
You know, when the first match started, it wasn't Justin Roberts. Was it Arcane Aura? She was doing the ring announcing.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounded then just like the audio mix was off.
Okay.
Like she was very loud in relation to the ambient sound of the arena.
Right, yeah.
And it was like jarring at first, but then the crowd was mixed quietly throughout the show. This isn't the first time we've noticed this at AEW shows or heard that. Like on TV, the enthusiasm of the crowd just isn't translating.
That's totally true. And they need to figure that out.
That's something they really need to rectify. Yeah.
It just adds so much. It adds so much when you have a loud crowd, It's just the atmosphere is unmatched. That's that's an easy way to get some spectacle there, man.
You got that right. It provides some fun.
Yeah, two of the 3.
Yeah. So then Kip Sabian and Mother Wayne come out with Nick Wayne. He's in a wheelchair because he's got that busted foot. So Cope and Christian looking up at the stage at them, but then FTR attack them. They hit Christian with the spike pile driver. And then Beth starts fighting FTR. And this is all while Cope's been handcuffed to the middle rope.
Well, this was great. This was a nice little WWE dramatic moment here. And it was reminiscent of when she got involved with the Judgment Day years ago. He's handcuffed. He can't do shit. And he's like, you need to leave because FTR's about to show. They're stalking. You got to get out of here. And she gave him a big old smooch, whoop-ha, and says, I love you. And then she turns around. She starts to beat on FTR.
With FTR, yeah.
Oh, I thought that was a really awesome moment.
It was.
And that's what AEW needs more of.
I know. So then FTR hits her with the pile driver.
Mm-hmm.
And so they get out of there, walk up the ramp. And then Doc Samson gets in the ring, starts checking everybody. And they get the bolt cutters out and get a Cope free from the middle rope.
Yeah. So I thought that was a good little bit there.
This next match.
Yeah. This was
so you had Eddie
best.
Kingston, his return match against Big Bill. And wasn't that great?
Yeah. He's been gone for 16 months.
16 months, yeah.
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 I mean, maybe this is, I don't know. I can't spell. I've been really wondering why his return has been on It's been through 2 Big Bill promos on Collision. And this is his actual return, and he's very emotional, especially at the end of after the end of this match, and so I'm glad he's back.
Same.
But this probably was not the way to go. You and I are both Big Bill fans.
Yeah.
I really like him. I think he should be pushed a lot more than he is.
Same.
But this was kind of this was sloppy.
Sometimes people just don't have good chemistry. It happens.
I guess so. Yeah.
Eddie gets the win with a back fist
that completely whiffed.
Yeah, it wasn't even close. Even commentary's like, "Oh, it looks like a glancing blow," and then it pinned him.
Well, Shivani first said that he was like, "Oh, he missed it," and then Brian had to cover and say, "Oh, I wonder if he might have glanced
clipped his jaw a little bit."
Yeah.
So then Brian Keith comes in and attacks Eddie, and then lights go down. Hook signal shows up. On television, no response.
Yeah.
Nothing. Silence.
Yeah, it doesn't help when, because I like conceptually the theme song that he's got. I think it's kind of cool. It's got, an old school New York vibe to it, right?
Yeah.
And that's what they're trying to present him as. The hook signal's got to go.
Yeah.
That is not spectacle.
No.
That's not fun.
No.
It's not a surprise.
It's not a surprise. First time, surprise. After that, no longer a surprise. So anyways, he comes to the ring, helps Eddie fend off Bill and Brian Keith, and then they hug afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Look, Eddie and Hook as an alliance, I like that. Maybe find some other, New York dudes.
If they're going to find a way to unlock some personality with Hook,
Eddie's the
presentation's good. He's got mystique. He's got to be involved in interesting stuff, and he's got to display a personality of anything,
Yeah.
Eddie's personality.
He is all personality.
So maybe Eddie can help Hook unlock that aspect of himself as a performer.
Ideally, we'll have the Eddie from TNA who ran over a kid in his car. The kid lived,
Okay.
Can't kill. You can't be doing that. But as a character, I think it's great. After that, we had MJF versus Mark Briscoe in a tables and tax match.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like you said, I will never complain about Mark Briscoe getting a win. This is not a complaint. It was a surprise, and this match was a ton of fun, the tax were spectacle.
Yeah.
I love this match. It was very bloody. It had little bits of comedy sprinkled in, and obviously it was very violent, but it was also a really well wrestled match. And there was the total surprise of Mark Briscoe getting the win here. You think MJF, hey, he's like you said, he's the future of the company. He's the young guy, and this is a feud that, according to Sean Ross Sapp, he pushed for. Very interesting that he took the loss here.
Yeah. I found it interesting that Danielson says something on commentary. He was referencing the shirt that MJF was wearing. I would say white collar.
Yeah, it was. I forget what it said, but ostensibly, it's like, hey, you're what? You're trash, and I'm the upper echelon. And Danielson said,
MJF looks down on people who are like janitors or
right, but he couldn't live
plumbers.
A day in their shoes.
Exactly. Yeah. That was his thesis. And once he said that, I brought up the possibility of Mark Briscoe.
Sure, yeah.
Maybe winning it. Obviously I didn't pick him.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't necessarily think it was a sure thing that MJF would win, but I thought he would. But when Danielson said that, I was like, all right, well, that kind of, maybe Briscoe actually really does have a chance.
You know what it was for me that, and I actually went MJF really heavy, but in looking back on it, because I didn't think this was going to happen at all. And even I thought Briscoe gave him, 2 froggy bows. One was through the table. He hit another one to finish the match. And even until the hand came down on 3, I didn't think it was going to happen. Mm-hmm. But then I thought back, and the one thing that stood out to me was MJF telling Tony Khan there's going to be another Briscoe brother in the dirt. And I was like, that's such a fucked up thing to say. I get it.
Well, also MJF almost lit Mark Briscoe on fire.
Yeah, I know. But honestly, the brother thing is worse, because it's like, look, we know he's not going to be lit on fire. Well, today somebody else lit on fire.
Yeah. Mox got lit on fire.
But like, it's one thing to do that to Mark Briscoe, who's known for, to be a violent guy. But to say the words, I'm going to put him in the ground like his brother, I mean, that's really heavy shit because that's real. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and so, okay, that's the kind of villainy that should be beat, in a match.
Yeah.
So.
After that, we had a trios match, Hurt Syndicate versus Gates of Agony and Ricochet. They have a name now.
The Demand.
Yeah.
Or or Demand. I think it's the Demand, though.
The Demand, yeah.
And they all have kind of like matching-ish coats, long coats.
Oh, yeah. They're all matching coats, yeah.
They're all matching up.
Yeah.
They look cool.
Yeah, look cool.
The Demand.
I don't know how I feel about it yet.
I don't like it. I mean, it's better than, I suppose, the
Nothing.
Supply. Don't laugh. What, of all the jokes, you laugh at that one. That's stupid as hell.
What if their faction was on demand?
On
Remember
demand?
that was the pay-per-view the station was on demand.
Yeah, that could be.
Anyways, they got the win. The Demand. Yeah, Ricochet pinning MVP. This match was fun. When again, in a lot of respects, this match kind of followed a similar template as the Punk AJ versus Seth Becky match at WrestlePalooza, where the first half of it is, all right, MVP's isolated. Sort of like in the first half of the other one, Punk's isolated. All right, come on, get to the fun stuff. I know what's happening.
Yeah,
I know this match is going to break down, and we're going to have Toa Leona and Bobby Lashley out there beating the hell out of each other.
Yeah,
that's what I want to see.
Imagine this, and I want you to tell me how this conversation goes.
Sure.
I'll just do this. I'll be the fall guy here. You and Hilton are a tag team. Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
You guys are successful.
Dominant, even.
Yes. And then you pick a fight, or somebody picks a fight with you that has a third guy. Oh, let's call Steve. Let's get Steve in. Hey, guys, I'll team up with you.
No, even better. You say, oh, you need a third man? I'm your dude.
Yeah. Right. And then my fat ass shows up. I just drop a turd. And it's like, how do you guys have that conversation where, you know what? In terms of achieving success, it's probably best that we leave the guy who's only a year older than one of the guys, but looks 10 years older. Doesn't move nearly as good as the other guy. But we like him, and he's our manager, and he takes care of the hotels and the business, and he talks shit to Jet Speed. We like this guy. But just, we don't need him in the ring with us because we got such a good thing going. How do you tell Steve that?
That's a tough conversation.
It's a tough conversation.
Sometimes he's got to take it on the chin and move on, man.
Okay, all right. I mean, is it a situation where, we're back there and I'm like, oh, boy, I hate the pin on that one, guys. That's on me. But what's next for this trios here?
Trios, you say?
Yeah.
Well, we got ourselves booked in looks like a tag team tournament here. That's just two of us, and that's Hilton and I in this instance.
Oh, so it's not like me and you or me and Hilton. It's just
no, afraid not. It was out of our hands. It was, we're the registered tag team in the promotion. You have to fill out the paperwork and everything. Yeah.
I mean, is there an addendum paperwork that we can?
It's too late. All the paperwork's been filed. Schedule's done.
I got myself a Freebird addendum here. If we all sign it,
again, it's too late. And there's no pen. My hands are all cramped up for the match.
Where did Hilton go, by the way? He just left?
No, he heard they had down to the last two pieces of prime rib catering, so he raced to get one for him and one for me. So.
Oh, he heard that it was down to the last scoop of mashed potatoes, huh?
Yeah.
That son of a bitch.
So, once this match got going, it was a lot of fun because it was just madness ringside.
Boy, Ricochet was bumping all over the place.
Yeah, he was. You kind of knew that MVP, if her syndicate was going to lose, you knew MVP was taking that pin, and as insistent as MVP was to start the match, you're like, all right, he's eating this pin.
You got to work your way in it, man. You're not a fine-tuned machine like your two dudes here.
Mm-hmm. So down towards the finish, Gates of Agony take out MVP. Toa Leona throws a chair at Lashley. Shelton hits a huge jumping knee on the floor, and then Ricochet takes them out with a leap over the post. At some point, Toa Leona takes out Lashley too. Maybe that was earlier. So MVP hits a couple suplexes, a boot, He's looking for his finisher, but then Gates of Agony intercept and hold up MVP so Ricochet could hit him with a spirit gun to get the win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we had heard that MVP likes Gates of Agony, so they got that win here. Hopefully they go full on developing their characters a bit, because I feel like that's what they need to do next.
They do. They need to explore those dynamics between those three guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We had Riho versus Mercedes Moné for the TBS title. Really good match between these two. Lots of creativity here.
Another match where Mercedes ekes out a win.
Mm-hmm,
The desperation on her part is like escalating match after match. This one she had to grab the ref.
That's right. Yeah.
To keep Riho from hitting a move, and then ends up hitting her finisher off that.
What is going to be the breaking point, and who's going to be able to capitalize on that?
That is a good question.
They should do. Have Willow beat Stat, and then Willow beats Mercedes. She's a champ.
Champ.
And she gets all the titles from Mercedes in that match. She's like,
oh,
hey,
wow.
Listen, I've got the AEW Women's World title. You've got like 11 titles. You've already done your Ultimo picture, which at some point she's got to do.
Yeah. She needs 2 more.
2 more? Okay. She'll get that.
She's at 9 right now. She needs 11
book her for Action Coast or what? I don't know if we can afford that. And then, have Willow be champ.
Yeah. It's either, I feel like it should either be Willow or, I know Athena's take some time off. It should be Willow or Athena.
Yeah, those are good options.
Those are
good options.
But a really good match. Lots of fun. The pace, especially at the beginning, just did not let up.
Yeah, that was really good stuff.
There's some really good stuff. Mercedes ekes out another win. Then we had the triple threat match for the unified title. Okada defending against Mascara Dorada and Takeshita.
Golly, this was just so much fun. And like you said, Mascara Dorada just doing really, really fun stuff here, taking advantage of the bad chemistry between Okada and Takeshita.
I will say this. The little snippets we got of just Okada and Takeshita got me hyped for their one-on-one match.
Oh, I can't wait. Yeah, and this is a feud that they got to take their time with, too. You got to take your time to get to there.
Yeah.
Boy, the fucking last ride on Mascara Dorada, I can't call him Lindsay, was fucking rough. Oh, my God. He hit hard.
Yeah, he did. He did.
You know what I was surprised by?
What?
Earlier in the MJF match with Briscoe, he gave an Alabama slam. Didn't really look that bad. It was on thumbtacks, but it was kind of a softer one. It was nice.
Yeah. I guess it depends on how much torque you apply to the downward aspect of it.
Seems like it.
Even then, there's no way, just the momentum you got going the way you are, it seems like it's impossible to keep your chin tucked so your head doesn't bash against the ring, whether it's got a lot of torque or not.
Yeah, man.
Anyways. Finish here saw Takeshita hit a superplex into a Falcon Arrow on Dorada. Okada breaks up that pin, looks for a Rainmaker on Takeshita. Takeshita avoids that. Okada hits Takeshita with a drop kick, sends him out the ring, and then hits Dorada with a Rainmaker to get the win. But there's so much good stuff in this. Gosh, it was so good.
Yeah, this was a really fantastic match.
It was so good. So afterwards, Okada gets in Takeshita's face. Takeshita's pissed. He walks off. And Okada celebrates in the ring with Don Callis.
That is correct. Next up, we had Coffin match. Darby Allin versus Jon Moxley. I was surprised. This was a 20-minute catch-as-catch-can match. And then the loser just went into the coffin of his own volition, and then
Closed
it was
the door,
closed in gentlemanly fashion.
Guess so. You watched a different match than I saw.
Yeah, that didn't happen here.
No, it was bloody.
Lots of violence. Lots of there was fork on ear quite a bit here.
And that the Death Rider's coffin got beat to shit. Absolutely beat to shit.
Oh my God. Yeah,
one of the hinges broke.
Yeah, it was messed up. Yeah.
It was beat to shit and early. Yeah, Darby's always going to do crazy stuff, and he does some crazy stuff early on, but when Pac shows up, and gosh, that bump was awful.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned the fork. Darby gets a fork. He had hit in the turnbuckle. Starts early in the match. He was biting Mox's ear. Mm-hmm. Later on, he gets the fork and starts jamming it in his ear. Mox hits a paradigm shift on top of the coffin, the Death Rider's coffin.
Yeah.
puts Darby in, tries to close the door, can't. So Darby gets out because he's got a pipe. That's where he blocks the closing of the coffin with the pipe. And so he starts choking Mox with it. And so they're down on the floor, and Bryan Danielson reaches under the announce table. He's got a bag with AEW, the logo on it, and just kind of slides it forward a little bit so Darby can get it.
Yeah.
Very nonchalant.
Yes, it was.
And so Darby goes in and gets the plastic bag out.
Yeah, I appreciate that also Bryan, during the match, was like, I'm sitting here and I'm trying to be unbiased, but fuck it. Let's go, Darby.
Oh, I love when Danielson cusses.
I know, because you can tell he loves it.
He relishes the opportunity. So he's choking Mox with the plastic bag for a while, and then hits a code red. Mm-hmm. Chokes him some more, does the Danielson stomps. And then Pac shows up with a lot less hair.
Yeah, he cut his hair. Yeah.
And so then he picks up Darby in Razor's Edge position and then chucks him out of the ring onto the Darby-themed coffin on the floor.
Yeah, that was gnarly.
Darby hits his lower back right where the two pieces of the coffin door meet. Mm-hmm. And so one bent where his upper back hit, and the bottom one didn't bend, so it's like his lower back hit right on that edge. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It sucked.
Yeah, it did.
Gosh, it sucked. That was awful. So Pac puts Darby in a body bag, puts him in the coffin, and Mox just kicks the door down.
Yeah.
So he wins.
Yeah, there's a little bit more to that a little bit later, but before that, because they all come down, the Death Riders come down, and they carry the casket out like a procession. Mm-hmm. After that, we had the Fatal 4-Way for the AEW Women's title. Tekla versus Toni Storm versus Chris Statlander versus Jamie Hayter. This match was wildly fun. Everybody got their shit in.
It was really short, though. It was the second shortest match.
Oh, how long was this one?
Like 12 minutes.
Oh, wow. That is short. That's interesting.
The only match that was shorter was Eddie and Bill, I believe.
Wow. Wow. That's crazy. How long was the Mercedes match? Do you remember?
I'll have to check. I want to say like 18 minutes.
Okay. In any event, Chris Statlander got the surprise win here with like a seatbelt pin, like Wheeler Yuta, who's been coaching her up because he came to before the match and he was like hyping her up and stuff. He was like, use the seatbelt. And she was like, get out of here. And, I mean, they have been telling this story lately where he's been trying to seemingly recruit her into the Death Riders. Mm-hmm. And she's been resistant. Now that she's won, where does this story go?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I mean, it seemed like, because Stat's like involved in, the tag team with Harley and,
sort of an ongoing beef with Willow to a degree.
The thing with Willow and, I figured Jamie and Tekla would kind of, out of this, pair off because, Tekla attacked Jamie at her debut and wrote her off TV for a little bit because Jamie's dealing with an injury. I kind of thought, well, they'll go and have their own feud off this match. And I just thought Statlander was already involved in so many different things.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I just didn't think her winning the title was a real possibility. So it really took me by surprise when this happened. Although, Tony's promo on Dynamite was more or less saying, yeah, I could lose.
Well, she sort of did this to herself, obviously.
Yeah, she did because she asked for this match.
Let's do it. Yeah. Let's do it. Which is refreshing. I was not mad about this at all. And as soon as Statlander won, the crowd did pop. And they were like, immediately, you deserve this. Because she puts in... Her matches with Mercedes were so fucking good.
They were really good.
And I was like, these are both matches that she probably should have won. Statlander, she's something special, man.
She's really good.
She's great.
She's really good. Yeah, and as you mentioned, this was 11 minutes, 55 seconds. The Mercedes match was 16.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, the only match that was shorter was Eddie and Bill, and that was 7 minutes, 20 seconds.
Yeah, they could have donated 5 from the main event to this.
Or from the ladder match.
I love that. The ladder match was fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, I love that match.
Statlander wins with the seatbelt. I don't know if this is going to be a thing where, Yuta, I assume, is going to continue to try to recruit her to join Death Riders now that they're expanding their ranks. Mm-hmm. We'll see. Don't know.
4-way ladder match for the tag titles was up next. We had Brodito versus Jet Speed. versus the Young Bucks versus the Don Callis family team of Josh Alexander and Hechicero. What do you think of, because he did this on Dynamite also, Don Callis's style of announcing the entrance for...
Well, the camera gets really close to him.
Really close.
Really
close.
close.
The Dynamite one was hilarious. It was even closer on Dynamite than tonight. And I wonder if there's going to keep on. It is fucking hilarious, though. It is hilarious. And he's talking and saying weird shit in Spanish, too. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
This match was fucking nuts, by the way.
Yeah, there was all sorts of crazy stuff going on in this one. I hope Hechicero's finger's okay. It looked like he got caught in the ladder.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, that was...
that
fucking Mike Bailey bit was... I mean, the Ultimo on the fucking ladder was crazy.
Yeah, almost looked like Hechicero ate that right in the head.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
It looked like his finger got caught. All right, where should we start here? Let's go from here. So...
I mean, dude, this is Brodito one.
Yeah, like, Brodito one. There's all sorts of
seriously, this is just fucking... Like, Bandito did holding the ladder, he did like the moonsault
to the floor, yeah.
To the floor. That was fucking crazy. I was like, this can't be safe.
Up.
Yeah.
And they got right back up and got the titles.
Yeah, that was nuts.
Yeah, it was pretty bananas.
Honestly, this is too much crazy shit to be like, oh, this is there's no story here. It was just crazy shit.
It was a car wreck match, yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, Yeah, Brodito won. Story beat happened afterwards because that's when Jack Perry returns. He stands up to the Young Bucks, gives them middle finger. They set him up for a BTE trigger. Lights go out. That's when they run the little video package about Kill Switch and Jack Perry bringing him back to life. So he's in the ring when the lights come back up. He hits the Young Bucks with a double choke slam. He stares at Perry. And then Perry points to Luchasaurus's waist because he still has the Kill Switch belt.
Mm-hmm,
and so Kill Switch takes it off and holds it up. And then Perry points to the crowd. So Luchasaurus flings it into the crowd. And so they hug, and then they play their old theme. And everybody's doing the whoa.
I'll be honest, man. I hate the song. I hate the jungle stuff. I hate that everybody's a dinosaur. I can't stand any of it. And then Jack Perry walks up the ramp shaking hands. I hate all of it.
He was so much more interesting as a scapegoat.
He was.
And here's the thing. He doesn't have to get away from that. You could, if you want to have your reunion with Jack Perry and Luchasaurus, okay. The characters are in different places now than they were 2-3 years ago when they broke up.
Yeah.
Recognize that and stick to that. Now, if he shows up, if Jack Perry shows up on Dynamite Wednesday in his Jungle Boy gear.
Oh, my God, yeah.
It's going to be maddening. It's like, why? Where's all this character development growth? It informs nothing, apparently.
I mean, you could tell a story where, he's lost because, he went down a certain route and, he's in not a better position mentally. And Luchasaurus is in the same way.
And there's comfort they can find with each other
because
of their history. But it doesn't mean you disregard the journey they got to get there.
Yeah, right.
And just to go back to what was going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
So backstage, Death Riders, they're all huddled up around the coffin. And so Mox is like, you all can leave. He even tells cameraman, show's over, you can leave now.
Get out of here.
And so the Death Riders all hop in the Death Rider truck and they speed off. Well, then Darby emerges from the coffin and bashes Mox with the pipe. So he puts Mox in a body bag. And then he looks at the table next to him. He sees some lighter fluid and a lighter. And so he sprays the body bag with this lighter fluid and lights it on fire.
Yeah.
And so...
And there was no... Like, it's funny because the camera, panned away, very briefly, but not long enough for them to do a switcheroo. It was Mox. And at first I was like, did they film this in, a special way? Did they do, a really clever cut? No, because when Darby lights him on fire and it goes up, Mox starts, wriggling around, being like, ah! And so they very quickly come in and put it out. And it's sort of all the wriggling kind of put it out. It was very
Well, it could have been, the short lasting.
Yeah, right. I think it was,
fluid too. Because, he lit it and there was the big flame.
And then it was sort of
subsided pretty quick.
Yeah.
But someone came out with a fire extinguisher.
But it was a great spectacle. And then they dragged Darby away and he's just, burn. Oh, that was great. I loved that. That was so fucking cool.
It was pretty nuts. And then finally, our main event, Kyle Fletcher challenging Hangman Adam Page for that AEW title. Fletcher was wrecking Page for most of this match. Wrecking him.
Oh, yeah.
Especially working over the neck because Hangman had the kinesiology tape on there from taking that brain buster through the table. And then he ate another one on the timekeeper table during this match.
And then late in the match, he ate 5 F5s after Hangman gave him 3
You're confusing
AAs.
that with the match that happened on WWE.
People were just shitting all over it online. It was crazy.
They started doing other people's moves. Fletcher was doing some Osprey, hit a hidden blade. He looked for a Stormbreaker.
One-winged angel, I think.
Yeah, we got a V trigger from Hangman. He hit a JML driver.
Yeah.
Down towards the finish, Hangman's looking for a buckshot again. Fletcher ducks it, hits a brainbuster, gets almost a 3 count. Hangman starts heaving some really weak lariats. Fletcher's just laughed him off. Hits the short arm lariat, takes the turnbuckle cover off, hits Page with a running kick, and he's setting him up to do the top rope brainbuster on the exposed turnbuckle. And then Hangman fights out of that and hits a dead eye off the second rope.
That was crazy.
And then follows with a buckshot to get the win. Really good. Gosh, this match was really good.
Yeah, it was.
Physical.
It was very, very good.
You could feel, at the end of the match, you could feel these guys were just beat to shit.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. Nothing happened after the thing. Just went off the air.
Yep.
So, yeah. Would you like to do our star ratings for All Out?
Sure, let's do star ratings for All Out.
All right, let's do some star ratings. First up, of course, we're going to talk about Cope and Cage, Cage and Cope versus FTR Larson. What do you give this match?
The wrestling was fine enough. The finish felt a little clunky, and maybe there was, a misspot or a miscommunication. So it didn't quite hammer home, I thought, the finish of the match maybe as strongly as maybe they'd wanted to. Seeing Beth come to help her husband out was cool. I gave it 3.5 stars. Solidly wrestled match. But maybe if they'd nailed the finish a little bit better, it would have been a higher score on my part.
I, too, gave it 3.5 stars. Pretty much everything you said, copy and paste.
There we go. Let's talk about Big Bill versus Eddie Kingston.
Yeah.
Steve, what'd you give this one?
Wasn't good. And given that finish, you can't even really say it's in match happen territory. I hope for better things for Eddie Kingston. This was not a great return. I give it 1.5 star.
Copy and paste. I gave it 1.5 stars as well. It's, considering what Eddie was doing prior to the injury, he was in a lot of really high profile stuff. And to have his return match just kind of happen with not a whole lot of fanfare.
Yeah.
Was a bummer. And, we like Bill a lot.
Yeah.
And we want to see him do more in AEW, but the chemistry just wasn't there for this match.
Not really, no.
Next up, MJF versus Mark Briscoe in a tables and tacks match. This match was pretty bonkers.
Yes, it was.
Outcome fairly surprising.
Golly, this match was only 19 minutes. It felt like it was 30. It felt so long.
It did feel really long, and that's kind of the only kind of knock I have on it.
Yeah.
Is that it dragged a little bit.
Yeah.
Especially the first half. That being said, MJF puts on good matches. Mark Briscoe puts on good matches. There was some creative stuff here. I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was really solid.
I'm close to you. I gave it 4.25. For pretty much everything you said as well. Yeah, I thought it was really, really good. I just felt it dragged a little bit, but it gave me the surprise. But the surprise, it's funny, man. And this is, it's a me thing. It's not, a knock on creative. But the surprise was like, oh, that's interesting. They're going with this guy as opposed to, oh, that's interesting. This person won. You know what I mean? Like there's like a story surprise and there's like big picture surprise where it just has you thinking like, is MJF going to take a break or something? What's going on?
Yeah. Let's talk about the trios match. Ricochet and Gates of Agony against Hurt Syndicate. What'd you give this one?
I gave this 3 3/4 stars. I thought it was really well wrestled. I thought it was cool. I'm not a huge fan of Hurt Syndicate losing anything. MVP needs to not be with them. That's the conversation we had earlier. That's all story stuff. But I really like this match. I just didn't think it was like, I'm not invested in Gates of Agony or the actual feud enough for me to really be invested in the match, but I like the wrestling.
Yeah, it was solid. I gave it 3.5. Not too far off from you. I guess the real key here is now that Ricochet and Gates of Agony gets a pretty huge win, beating Hurt Syndicate. What's next? How are they going to take advantage of this momentum?
That's the big question. Yeah.
That's what is Creative going to have for them next to really start building them up to be a faction to be taken seriously and one to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
Next up, Riho challenging Mercedes for that TBS championship. The only thing this match kind of suffered from was any sort of doubt about who was going to win.
I agree.
We knew Mercedes was going to win. I like the story they're telling with Mercedes with each match. She's getting a little bit desperate, more desperate. She has to find new and creative ways to eke out wins. I appreciate that because it's not overbearing. They're not hitting you over the head with it.
Right.
It's just match after match. You notice these things. Oh, she has to do this to win. She has to do this to win. Now she has to grab the referee by the pants pocket to distract Riho to get the advantage. I gave it 4 stars. The wrestling was really good, and if there was more drama in terms of who was going to win, I probably would have gone at least a quarter star higher. But it was really good.
I agree 1,000% with everything you said. I gave it 4 stars as well.
Gosh, we've been
our Kotra's aligned today, dude.
I know, quite a bit. Let's see about this next one, the Unified Championship match. Okada successfully retained against Takeshita and Maskara Dorada. What'd you give this one?
I gave this 4 3/4. The only thing missing was somebody else going to win this match. This was fucking awesome. These guys are just phenomenal. And who would have thought? You know, because I wasn't sure going into the tournament if it was going to be Mortas or Maskara Dorado, because I think those are both really good options for guys who can elevate a match and also eat a pin. But in this case, they went with the right option because this was awesome. And it just, like we said, it elevated the Okada Takeshita. You know, the little glimpses we saw of them one-on-one was just like, oh man, this is these guys fucking hate each other, and you could just feel it. So I'm really looking forward to what they do with this. And the match itself was just immaculate. I gave it 4 3/4.
Not too far off, 4.5. Fantastic stuff. This match was so good. Really nothing to quibble with except maybe the drama and the outcome. But there would be a slim chance that Takeshita could have walked away with that title, and they could have continued the story between him and Okada that way. Although I kind of felt like if Takesha's beating Okada, it's going to be in a one-on-one bout. So I gave it 4.5. Really good stuff. Next up, coffin match. Mox taking on Darby Allin. Mox gets the win here with the return of Pac. Brutal, violent, bloody, pretty creative in spots. You got to assume Darby's going to get his win over Mox at some point. I guess this match to a degree protects him because you have the interference from Pac. Plus, he's not pinned, doesn't submit. I gave it 4 stars. It was violent and enjoyable, and with Pac returning, there's a little bit of intrigue there. So I thought it was all really good.
I gave it 4 stars as well because I really, really liked it. I think it could have gone higher if Pac didn't return. I do think that was kind of my one, negative. I love Pac and I love the haircut, but it's just a cheap way out of the match, Yeah. And if we had gotten a proper finish, I think that would have been more satisfying. But that being said, like you said, creative, violent moves, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, 4 stars. I thought it was really good.
Yep. Next up, we had for the AEW Women's Championship, Chris Statlander defeating Toni Storm, Tekla, and Jamie Hayter. What'd you give this one, Steve?
I gave this 3 3/4. It was short, like we mentioned earlier, and I love Statlander winning, but the way the match was kind of constructed, and it was like one of those like, oh shit, she just won, as opposed to like, oh my God, like it didn't really feel like it built to that moment.
Yeah.
It was like it just happened, and it was like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Which is cool and everything, but like I like my matches to be big, dramatic crescendos. And I thought there was a lot of creativity in this match, so I gave it 3 3/4.
Yeah, I gave it 3 3/4 as well. This was another one of those matches where after Tony lost, I was like, "She take time off? She doing a movie?" Or
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Just because it came kind of so out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But I wasn't upset that Statlander won. The match was short. Wish they had given it more time, because maybe if they had more time, it would have built to that crescendo a bit better.
Yeah.
Ladder match. What'd you give this one, Steve? I know you really liked it.
Oh man, match. Well, yeah, this is my match of the night, but I'm going to give it the same rating that I gave that other match, 4 3/4.
Okay.
Not going to go 5, but goddamn, if there was. I'm trying to think what the criteria would have been for 5. Brodito won. I knew they were going to win, so that's probably it. If there was more of a story going into this match, I probably would have given it 5. It's hard to do 5 without a real proper story going into it. But so this is the highest I can go otherwise, because goddamn, I love a good train wreck here and there. I think it's awesome. So 4 3/4.
I only went 4 because there was no stories between the teams, really. I mean, there kind of was a little bit between the Young Bucks and Jet Speed. There was like a little bit of a burgeoning feud there that I thought was going to lead them to have just a regular tag match between the two teams on this card.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we've seen so many of these car wreck type ladder matches of late.
Yeah,
maybe I feel like I've been kind of desensitized to the car wreck nature. Because like there was that TLC match on SmackDown right after Mania that was fantastic.
Yeah, that was really good.
The one was it SummerSlam? That was really good.
But they didn't have Bandito.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Ladder,
5-star spot.
Do a moonsault, and then get right back up. This didn't have Ultima Weapon on Hechicero's head on a ladder.
You're mentioning 5-star spots, but I felt that as a whole it was a 4-star match.
Wow. Okay. Fair enough.
Main event: Kyle Fletcher versus Hangman Adam Page. Now this was my match of the night.
Okay.
Hard-hitting, physical. Hangman having to overcome the injured neck. Just, gosh darn it. And some of the most intricate bits of chain wrestling. Not mat-based, but, counter wrestling, I guess I should say, that I've seen in a while. Those two sequences especially. I was like, gosh darn it, these guys are so good. And, I guess in pretty much every respect, they're handling Hangman's second title run much better than the first. The first one was just like, all right, you can have good matches now.
Yeah.
And it feels like Hangman's picked up the level of his in-ring work, plus the character work still really on point. But, if they can give us like a really solid champion Hangman story next, then we're cooking.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that. So I'm sorry. What's the score?
Oh, 4 3/4. I loved it.
Wow. I gave it 4.5. It was 38 minutes long of just really excellent wrestling, but I knew who was going to win the entire time, and I never ever felt any other way. And I think that's the one thing that his feud with MJF really had me thinking, oh shit. You got the contract out there, and I feel like that's what they need to get to with Hangman it's few and far between the names that I think really have a shot at Tony Khan being like, let's do this. Mm-hmm. And so, and I don't know, besides MJF, I don't know who, Okada maybe, because guys that have to be protected, even though ironically, because MJF lost tonight. So I gave it 4.5 because it was a really, really excellent match, but 38 minutes, and I know who's going to win the entire time. That is kind of my ceiling for that is 4.5. And then there's also like, honest to God, there is sort of the professional obligation we had to co-watch Brock Lesnar's bullshit along with this, which might have not helped to suck me in a little bit more, and I'll fully cop to that. So maybe at some point I will take 38 additional minutes of my life, rewatch this, and give it a better score. But I don't know.
4.5 is not bad,
4.5 is a really good score. So I think I'm also giving it a little bit of the benefit of the doubt here. But yeah, regardless, excellent match. And yeah, I hope that they get Hangman in something where it really has me thinking, oh shit, he might lose this thing. That's where the good stuff is.
That and some character evolution.
Yeah.
Give us that.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, that's going to do it for our All Out review. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. We'll be back on Monday evening for our Raw review. After Raw is off the air, we're going to be live with our review then. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Do us a solid. Hit that thumbs up button. It's like the hand that's been decapitated.
No, it's disembodied.
It's a floating hand.
Yeah, disembodied.
That's
the word for it.
Doesn't have a head anymore, so it's been decapitated.
Hands are not connected to heads.
Right, but, well, eventually they are. It goes up here.
No, there's several body parts in between.
Right, but the hand bone's connected to the forearm bone. The forearm bone is connected to the bone where the bicep is round, which is also connected to the shoulder thing. That's connected.
You're so far removed from the hand that there's no.
I like a good hand sandwich. All right, that's going to do it. We'll see you guys around.
Goodbye.